Right, Maxwell. Anyone comes in, you start tidying up this mess.
Connors and company have something on you, don't they?
They think they do, and that's the way I like to keep it.
And why me? You don't know you can trust me?
Self-interest is a great motivator, Maxwell. You have as much to gain by bringing Connors down as I do, and much more to lose.
All right. But I won't pretend I like it.
You are learning, aren't you? To survive in here, you play the game.
When do you plan to start this little campaign?
Right now. There's a small problem to be taken care of before we go for the big fish. Should be simple enough, even for you. Julie Egbert.
Right now, I'm more concerned about you.
Oh, I'm great. I just wish it was 5.5 months from now.
Oh, yes, so do I.
And so they took her onto the roof and subjected her to a most terrifying ordeal. The woman probably wouldn't think twice about subjecting one of us to the same treatment. But does this justify their actions? Oh, Miss Ferguson.
I was told that one of these dorms had a blocked basin.
Oh, I don't think so. Why did you...
I told you why I was here, McCormick. Prisoners do not question officers in future. Remember that.
There are a couple of things I need from you.
Such as?
Muscle and cocaine.
Ugh. You can forget the cocaine. Because I'm not doing anything that can be traced back to me. The muscle you have to find for yourself.
Look, I can destroy Connors if we get someone in here who's a match for her. There must be someone in another block who could get transferred. The cocaine is to buy the extra backing we'll need to make sure Connors stays down.
You can forget the drugs. You have to think of something else.
Too late. Everything's been organized, including the payoffs. We mightn't get another chance if we let this one go. Here's the supplier.
Williams?
Janet's sister. Don't worry, all Janet knows is that I'm arranging for someone to get it.
Well, what about the money? Stuff like that doesn't come cheap.
You know prisoners aren't allowed cash. Call it an investment for the future. Your future.
Very smart, Maxwell. But you're forgetting one thing. Egbert. She's still one of the conditions.
Plant some cocaine in her cell. Should be enough.
It's too simple. She's got to be caught red-handed. This, Williams. Would she have supplies of LSD?
I'm sure she would.
Right, I'm off now.
Hello, Joan.
What's she doing here?
New arrival. Why?
Thought you were on the straight and narrow.
Okay, Sarah. Nice to see a friendly face, though.
Go through to the showers, will you? There's a towel in there. I'll be there in a minute. What's going on? Do you know her?
Yeah. She was an inmate at the prison I worked at in Queensland.
See.
Oh, she's just a minor offender. Shoplifting. Runs off at the mouth a bit, but she's harmless enough. Be a good thing if it rubbed off on some of the scum in here.
Is that you, Joan?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think?
It's lovely. What's the occasion?
Just thought you'd appreciate it, that's all.
Oh, you shouldn't have gone to so much trouble.
Nonsense. 16-hour shift after what you've been through, it's the least I can do. Now, why don't you go inside and sit down, and I'll get us a drink.
Thanks.
Scotch?
Oh, please.
Have you, heard when the insurance will be coming through?
It won't. The person I used to live with forgot to post the premium.
He forgot?
My fault for not reminding him, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, you mustn't blame yourself. Here you are.
Thank you. Oh, there's a couple at work have offered me a place to stay, and I thought...
You're more than welcome to stay here, Joan. Besides, I enjoy your company.
Yeah, but I'm putting you to so much trouble.
No, look, really, I like it. And besides, you did say you like to leave your work behind you when you relax. There'll be no shop talk here, Joan, not unless you want to.
Thank you. The good news is that I might be coming into some money from elsewhere.
Yeah? Really? That's terrific. Well, here's to better times then. That'll be the roast.
Hello? Yes, I'm a friend of your sister, Janet. I believe you can help me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wake you.
I dozed off.
Look, why don't you go to bed? You look done in.
No, I'm waiting for a friend to drop something off. Oh, that'll be them now.
Well, stay there. I'll get a phone.
No, please. I wouldn't mind having a word with them, actually.
Oh, well, why don't you ask them in and I'll make some coffee?
Well, they said something about not keeping the babysitter waiting. I won't be a minute.
Joan Ferguson?
Yes?
Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Oh, hello there. Glad you decided to drop in. My name's Andrew.
Detective Harris, Arson Squad. We're here to ask Miss Ferguson about the fire that destroyed our house.
Oh, I see.
Would you like some coffee or something?
No, thanks. Won't keep you long. Just want to check up on a few points.
Well, would you excuse us for a minute? Listen, would you mind if I speak to them alone for a while? It's hard enough talking about it as it is.
Yeah, well, you sure I can't do anything to help?
No, I'll be all right.
Okay, now, don't forget to remind me about that telephone call.
No, I'll make sure of it. Well, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. What was it you wanted to know?
We finished investigations at the site of the fire. It looks like it was deliberately lit. I was wondering if you had any idea who might have done it. Held a grudge against you, that sort of thing.
Oh, look, I'm a prison officer and, naturally there are people who would like to see something like this happen to me.
Anybody in particular? Someone who's just been let out recently or still inside with contacts on the outside?
No one I can think of.
We'll check it anyway. And what about threats, intimidating phone calls, anything like that?
No. I wish I could be of more help. It's all been such a nightmare.
Fair enough. What about your friend Andrew? Do you think he could help us?
Oh, no. He's just a friend who's been kind enough to put me up.
I see. We don't seem to be getting very far, do we? I think the best thing we can do is go back over your movements from a week or so ago. See if it helps you recall a detail or two that'll give us something concrete to go on.
Sorry I couldn't have been of more help.
Well, if you think of anything at all, here's where I may be contacted.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh, I thought I heard him go. What do they say? Any leads in the culprit?
No, not as yet. I told them some names, not that it'll do much good. Anyone that professional's bound to have an alibi.
Well, I'm going to bed. Why don't you take your mind off it and do the same thing, eh? See you in the morning.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, Amy Ryan speaking.
Mrs. Ryan. Joan Ferguson. I think I can have your little problem solved tomorrow.
Oh, so soon. I really wasn't expecting it.
I can give you my bank account number now, if you like.
Right, I've got a pen. Okay. Good. I'll get onto that right away. Bye.
All right, here it is.
It's not a bad quantity.
Yes, it includes the little surprise for Egbert, enough acid to knock out an elephant.
When?
Today.
Today?
I want Egbert fixed today.
It's as good as done. Bon voyage.
Move along, Ferguson. Come on, let's go to the restaurant.
Listen to her, she's off her face. She can't be.
You better believe it, sister.
Corridors aren't standing around here. Move along. Don't you, Maxwell? I want to talk to you.
What about?
That surly tone of voice for a start. So you had a win with Egbert.
I do what I say I'll do.
And about the other matter?
All you have to do is make sure our muscle gets here. The sooner the better.
Well, the governor's agreed to it. The transfer happens this afternoon.
And she's the one you told me about? Good. Then I can go ahead and set the trap. I guarantee you Connors will walk straight into it.
Yes, well, if there's anything in your cell you don't want found, I suggest you keep it out of sight. There'll be a cell search after this Egbert business.
If there's going to be a cell search, they'll find it wherever I hide it.
It depends on who's doing the searching. You watch that cellmate of yours. The last thing I need is for her to mess up our arrangement. Clean here.
Yes, here too.
Too clean. Maxwell, we know you've got contraband hidden in this prison, and we're going to find it.
No idea what you're talking about.
Let's get on to the next one.
Right.
Amy Ryan?
Joan Ferguson. Just letting you know everything's been taken care of.
Oh, that is good news, Miss Ferguson. You're quite sure? You can guarantee a sentence will be increased?
She'll serve out her last 3 years without parole. I've seen to it personally.
I'm sure you have. You had no problems?
None that I couldn't handle.
What I meant was it couldn't be traced.
I know exactly what you meant. The job is done. It's just the matter of the financial arrangement.
Well, of course. The money will be deposited in your account this afternoon. Thank you, Miss Ferguson. It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
Yes, I'm sure. Goodbye.
Sorry to take so long. We've got 2 of our seniors away now. After a $60,000 loan for a unit.
Yes. I've got about $12,000 in my savings account, but I'll be needing some of that to buy clothes and furniture, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've had some valuations done over the phone, and I should be able to get enough money for the land to pay out the existing mortgage.
Yes. Do you have more than one personal savings account with us, Miss Ferguson?
No. Why?
Well, I'm afraid your current balance falls far short of $12,000.
Miss Joan Ferguson, unless my eyes deceive me, which apparently your ears have. Let me tell you again, go away.
You owe me, Mrs. Ryan, $12,000.
I owe you nothing. You were supposed to take care of that little slut, and all you've done is let her dig her claws deeper into my son.
I was supposed to have her prison sentence extended, and that's exactly what I've done. Now, are you going to pay me or not?
Oh, for God's sake, no, I'm not.
You listen to me. First thing in the morning, you will deposit that money in my account as agreed. Because if you don't, I'll arrange for some ex-cons I know to come and visit you here. And when they're through with you, I doubt even if your son will recognise you. Now, what are you going to do?
$12,000 in your account first thing in the morning.
Yes, I'm sorry.
To hell with it.
Hey, that's cheating, that is.
Yeah, well, what about you on the 7th, when you lost a ball and then dropped one?
Yeah, well, I know it's against the rules, don't I? I was only trying to save time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, madam, I don't know about you, but I can eat a horse.
Oh, and I thought it was just a plain old beef casserole.
The price of beef these days. Can't be too fussy.
McDermott here. The bloke's name's Andrew Hinton, retired military. Ordinary, run-of-the-mill from what I could gather. Bill Ferguson only appeared on the scene just lately. Yeah, get your point. I'll keep checking it out. Right.
Do you know I never asked you whether you liked ice in your... Something wrong, Joan?
There's that car parked out in the street, the red BMW. I would have thought your neighbour would park off the street.
Yeah, well, it can't be Jack's. He drives some fancy sports job.
Oh. Well, where was I?
About to lose your second bishop.
Oh, no, I'm not.
You can't do that.
Yes, I can.
You put a dog in the box. Go on.
Mr. Parker. Morgan. The bloke drove off about 20 minutes ago. Ferguson's leaving now. Your info was right. She's wearing prison uniform. Will do.
I hope you've got a good explanation.
What are you talking about, lady? I was just about to leave for work.
Don't give me that. You've been following me since yesterday. Now, you tell me what's going on or I call the police.
Couple wouldn't go astray.
Just get on with it.
We can always discuss it outside. I'm sure the neighbours would love to know you're into drug smuggling.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I happen to represent the organisation who supplies Sandra Williams, the one you're getting your stuff from.
Never heard of her.
Had you pegged as a pro. Playing dumbs for the amateurs, lady.
Just get to the point.
That's better. Okay, you and your bloke have obviously opened up a nice little...
My bloke is just a friend who put me up when my house was burnt down, that's all.
So you're flying at solar. It doesn't change anything. We hear you've opened up a market in Wentworth. The organisation wants in.
Well, your information is wrong. That was a one-off. I had a debt to repay, and I repaid it.
Oh, it'd be great if life was that simple, wouldn't it?
What's that supposed to mean?
Means you're in too deep. Drug smuggling is a criminal offence, Ferguson.
If you think you can blackmail
that's
me...
exactly what we are doing. You'll be contacted tonight. Don't make any plans to go out.
troublemaker. A file's full of it.
Right, Andrea. Yes, I'll let her know.
I called in a few favours, if you'd like to know.
Is that so? Well, obviously the department didn't approve if you had to use those tactics.
That was reception. Mrs. Ryan's here to see you.
Oh, probably about the wedding arrangements.
Well, she can't be too happy about them. Andrea said she's in quite a state, demanding to see you.
Guess we should have smashed our mugs instead of rinsing them. I've recommended to the department they let the wedding go ahead.
You wanted me, Governor?
Yes, see Mrs. Ryan out, will you? Don't worry, I'm sure everything will work out for the best.
I knew I was wasting my time. Public servants. Puppets.
Not all of us, Mrs. Ryan. By the way, have you been to your bank?
The money's in your account.
Glad to see you kept your head and didn't tell the Governor about our conversations.
Frankly, Miss Ferguson, I wish I'd never spoken to you.
There's still time to stop the wedding. It'll just cost you a little bit more, that's all.
I'm not interested.
Well, you think about it. In the meantime, I'll set the ball rolling. Call it a goodwill gesture. I want Egbert's wedding disrupted, totally. And I want Jenkins and Connors blamed for it.
God, you don't want much, do you?
We'll do it. Guaranteed.
I'll get it. Hello?
Joan Ferguson, please.
Speaking.
Joan, this is Harry Parker. I'd like to talk to you.
In relation to what, Mr. Parker?
Harry, I like to be on a first-name basis with my business associates.
We are not business associates.
That's what I want to talk to you about.
I'm not interested.
128 Mansell Street, Suite 3.
I said I'm not interested.
In half an hour. Then, when we saw that you were a prison officer, I thought, perfect woman for the job.
Am I supposed to be flattered?
Sure. Smuggling dope takes brains. And a cool head. I picked you for having both right off.
Very flattering. Why should I get involved in drug running?
Joan, don't make me blow the whistle on you.
I won't take it in. I won't risk it.
For me.
I won't do anything that'll land me behind bars.
Joan, you got no house, no insurance money, and no savings. Push me and I'll have to see to it that you got no job. Believe me, you've got a reason. Now, I'll arrange the courier and tell you when they're coming in. You get them and the stuff inside and arrange distribution and collection of the money afterwards.
How?
Cash and signed bank withdrawal forms. Now, here's an advance. Put it away for your old age. Joan, you're not thinking.
I wouldn't be if I took a cheque. Cash up front or nothing.
I knew we could do business.
Do I have a choice?
None. But that's good. Easier on your conscience.
You'll be getting a visitor this morning.
Yeah? Who?
Your sister.
Business call.
She'll be bringing you a package. Don't bungle it.
You can count on me.
Yes.
I want to see Janet Williams. I'm her sister. Miss Ferguson?
Yes, that's right. I'll have to check your bag. You're early.
So?
So next time be here right on the minute, understand? Yes, well, everything seems to be in order. Yes, the Minister, please. Joan Ferguson, Deputy Governor of Wentworth Detention Centre.
I found Egbert. She's all right, but her outfit's a mess.
I'm not surprised. Miss Ferguson just told me Williams and Maxwell roughed her up just to get back at Connors.
Well, that explains that scuffle in the corridor.
Well, thank heavens it was just a scuffle.
The wedding will have to be cancelled, of course.
What on earth for?
We can hardly punish Egbert for something she didn't do.
Governor, you seem to be missing the point. The department only gave permission on the grounds that there was no trouble.
The trouble has been taken care of, Miss Ferguson.
Yes, well, I might be preempting a little, but naturally I have let the Minister know. In fact, he's on his way here now to put a stop to, how did he put it, these stupid wedding shenanigans. The Minister is well aware of the slipshod tactics in this place. And that is why he appointed me as Deputy Governor. I'm not about to jeopardise his trust in me by kowtowing to a bunch of criminals.
That does it. Get Egbert and get her to the rec room now. This might be the last thing I ever do in Wentworth, but this time your tactics are not going to spoil something positive for those women.
Oh, you're too late. The ministry...
I hope you enjoyed it, Miss Ferguson, because that's the last time you countermand my orders. Pity you didn't get away with it.
Well, let me know as soon as he arrives.
If there be anyone present who can give just reason...
Forget that bit, love.
Oh, shut up and let him get on with it.
They're all for it.
Ferguson. Good.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Oh, I'm sorry, Minister. I didn't realise you were still here. Governor, could I possibly...
We'll be finished shortly. I'll look after it then.
No, come in, Miss Ferguson. On the contrary, we have a great deal to clear up here first. Frankly, if it weren't for Miss Ferguson, I wouldn't have a clue about what is happening here.
I'm sure she's quite capable of relaying her version of events.
I hope I don't have to defend myself for carrying out instructions.
Not at all. Your report was quite in order.
Egbert did nothing to warrant cancelling her wedding.
Sir, the women have been at each other's throats lately. Anyone could see that this wedding was just an excuse to stir up more trouble.
I'm in the habit of punishing culprits, not victims.
Fine words. But it's obvious Miss Ferguson had a better grasp of the situation than you did.
Oh, I'm quite sure Mrs. Reynolds thought she was doing the right thing. Obviously, she rushed the wedding through in order to save any backlash against the department.
Personally, I don't think Mrs. Reynolds was considering the department's interest at all.
As governor of this prison, I have discretionary powers.
It's clear to me that you've lost sight of what the department expects of you. I'll expect your letter of resignation on my desk this afternoon. In the meantime, I'd like you to take over the governorship as of now. Will you accept the commission?
Oh, yes, of course, sir. If that's what the department wants.
Look, I've got to go now. Bye. Where's Mrs. Reynolds? I need to see her about the arrangements for the conjugal suite.
You're wasting your time. It's not up to her anyway.
Of course it is.
Mrs. Reynolds has resigned her position, and there won't be any conjugal visit.
Who do I have to see about this?
Oh, the new governor, I suppose.
Who's that?
Me. And you can say goodbye to any picnics at Barnhurst as well.
You can't stop a transfer.
Why should Egbert have any special attention?
Her name's Julie Ryan, and you know damn well she shouldn't be in this place.
Makes me wonder if you're blind or just plain stupid. And it also beats me why someone with your background would want to start raising a family with a little con merchant like her.
Well, it's obvious why no one's ever asked the question of you.
Oh, wake up to yourself. You can easily get an annulment, considering your marriage won't be consummated.
I'd rather wait 10 years than let you think you've done me a favour.
You might have to, knowing how much she loves trouble. You're wasting my time. Out.
Just what do you think you're doing?
Get rid of the rubbish, if you must know. No wonder this place was going to the dogs. Repairing the antisocial, behavioural patterns, staff management and the bureaucracy. And where was little Alice in Wonderland, or weren't we ready for that one?
Leave them where they are, please.
You know, there have been times when I've gone home from this place and wondered why the hell I bother. And the pity of all this is that you won't be here to see how a real prison should be run.
Before you make too big a fool of yourself.
I understand that some of these things are your personal property. I'll have them sent to you.
Who's your informant, Joan? How did you manage all this?
None of your business. And the name is Miss Ferguson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right, Mrs. Pringle. Mrs. Reynolds was just leaving.
Oh, but I thought... I'm afraid you're the one who'll be leaving.
Mrs. Reynolds, the reporter is waiting for your comments on the wedding.
What reporter?
Seems Mr. Dwyer had a sudden change of heart. I want this mess cleaned up now. Oh, and Joan, I want Julie Egbert's transfer papers on my desk by the time I get back.
Now to the real stars of the day, Dr. Stephen Ryan and his lovely bride, Julie. Congratulations to
Hurry
both
up,
of
Joan,
you.
you're missing it.
Thank you. Well, obviously this is a marriage with a difference. What do you think the major drawbacks will be?
Well, for a start, there won't be much of a honeymoon, but the authorities have agreed to let us spend some time together tonight.
Well, obviously,
Joan?
champagne
Touching,
will
isn't
have to
it?
wait quite some time as well.
Oh, there you are.
Julie won't be released for 5
I must
months.
say, I can't picture her as one of those tough nuts you told me about.
Sure, don't let that facade fool you. She's no different. Anything to make things easier for herself.
Surely you don't think she's just using him to get that transfer? Looks to me as if she shouldn't even be there in the first...
Wonderful. And Mrs. Reynolds, I can't thank her enough.
I see the Governor, Mrs. Anne Reynolds, has been able to join us, so we might ask her for a...
Well, we keep on letting Miss Ferguson read the diary, but we make false entries. Now, this is what I wrote when I was in hospital with Julie. The women are up to something. Whatever it is this time, they're going to great lengths to hide it from me. All I've been able to find out is it'll take some time to organise.
Hey, yeah. We suck her in. Then we can set her up any way we want.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean about lighting a fuse to a time bomb?
What do you think, Rita?
You got me interested. What do you got planned for the next entry?
I don't think you should go through with this idea of yours, Rita. If the officers found
Well, it's
out...
got nothing to do with you, Nance. Pipe down.
But a mass escape. Oh, come on, Nance. I told you about that this morning.
I didn't like the idea then. It's far too dangerous.
Well, what do you reckon, Lurch? Is anyone going to get hurt?
No way. I've really done my homework this time, and everyone will be safe so long as they do what they're told.
But what about the women who have to create the diversion? There'll be terrible trouble once the officers find out.
Now, listen, Nance, I've made up my mind, and we're going through with it. Now, I'm warning you. You do anything to try and stop this, you'll be in big trouble.
Oh, that's telling her right.
You know, why doesn't everyone shut up and get on with what you're doing? We don't want to blow it.
Who's on skip?
Roach?
Where's Wilkinson?
Oh, Mrs. Slattery's got her hump and boxes in the storeroom. Taking off like a cat in a kennel. Let's get after her and see where she goes.
I was shocked to learn the women are making a bomb. This will be exploded against the fence during tomorrow morning's special recreation period, while the women create a diversion. Rita and some of her friends hope to escape through it. I only hope I can convince them all of the danger and stupidity of such a foolhardy idea.
Yours truly discovered an escape plot for tomorrow morning.
Hell, that's big. Should look good on your record.
Won't do any harm.
Well then, here's to driving lessons and promotion.
Promotion.
Come on, ladies, move along. The fun time's over. This is exercise period, not... Come on, move along. It's best to keep them laughing, don't you think, Miss Ferguson?
Oh, yes, definitely. A smile never hurt anyone.
At the school, Mr. Murphy said that officer-prisoner relations are always best when you keep them happy.
Very wise man. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. You may have noticed their reluctance to do as they're told.
Oh, yes.
There is a little trick that I've learned over the years. Perhaps I could show it to you.
Yes, please.
Move it!
Keeping him all to yourself, eh, Miss Ferguson? Huh. I think I might go outside now. Coming, Red?
Well, maybe you wouldn't like the idea of a ready-made family anyway, Red.
Hey, you never thought of that.
Good God, what's that? Makeup or bruising?
Oh, give it a go. I think she looks very nice, don't you, Mr. Adams?
Outside. And Jenkins, stand by the vegetable patch. You'll keep the birds away. Not exactly textbook method, Mr. Adams, but it works.
But the women took it exactly
Governor,
as
I've
planned.
just been told there's a bomb planted in the grounds.
Who told you?
An informant. Apparently the women are going to use it to escape.
Who's out there with them?
Jackson, Radcliffe, Stout and Davis. I've called the bomb squad.
Because of a rumour. That's a bit premature, isn't it?
I don't think so. Going to do something about it or not?
Come on.
Hey, Ray!
Oh, Mrs. Reynolds, you haven't seen the shuttlecock net, have you?
Everybody inside.
Come along, quickly, Miss Stout. Help Mr. Jackson get the women inside.
You other officers wait here with the governor.
We still got 15 minutes yet.
You get more than that, Connors. Much more. Now get inside.
Oh, I did enjoy that fun.
Anyone would think there was a bomb or something.
Still think I shouldn't have called the bomb squad, Mrs. Morris?
No, Joan. As usual, you were right again.
Perhaps now we can have some transfers to Blackmore instead
More
of...
to the point, perhaps you'd like to tell us who your informant is, so that...
I don't intend.
So that we can protect her. safe?
I'll let you be the judge of that. Bring it out, Brian.
Lucky you didn't call the press as well.
I don't care how big a fool you make of yourself, Miss Ferguson, but in future do it in your own time and leave Wentworth out of it.
Well, what about the women? You going to do anything about them or not?
Protecting their rights?
They're prisoners.
That doesn't give you the right to read their personal diaries. What do you think your friend Mr. Dwyer's going to say when he reads this?
Does he have to?
Of course he does. The women wrote it for him, not me. It was found in the box addressed to the minister, and the bomb disposal men found it. What do you want me to do, pretend it doesn't exist? You're a fool, Miss Ferguson. You made an enemy of the women, and then underestimated your enemy.
Yes. I'm sorry. If there's nothing else, I'll get back to work.
No, you will not. I want you to go home.
Go home? Why?
Because I know you, and I don't want you anywhere near those women today. Don't argue with me, just do as you're told. Now.
What the hell are you trying to do to me? There's the wedding fiasco, and now this.
This was different. I had every reason to suppose that
I suppose you've mentioned this to Reynolds, huh?
Of course not.
No, at least you've done something right.
I don't think you're being fair, sir.
Don't you take that tone with me, Ferguson. I instigated your promotion in good faith, and what have you given me in return? Nothing. Well, that is going to change. You are going back to that prison, and you're going to prove to me that I was right in making you deputy governor. If not, Morris gets her job back. Now, get out.
Harry Parker, please. Joan Ferguson.
Get in, Miss Ferguson. I'm sorry about this. I missed lunch. It's just been one of those days. Would you mind? I'm glad you called. Gave me a chance to get out of the office. Can I pour you a cup of coffee?
No, thank you.
No trouble. There's another cup.
No, I don't want one.
Oh, yes, I forgot. It's sugared. Well, not sugared. I use those tablets.
Look, I don't want one. Can we talk?
Let me see. Connors is giving you a hard time and you want me to do something about it. Is that correct?
It's more than just a hard time. You know what they did to my house. And then she tried to kill me. Of course, if I try to retaliate, her bikey friends will... Well, that's where I'm asking for your help. I'd appreciate it if you'd get them off my back.
Who are they?
The Conquerors.
Yes, they're all customers of ours, aren't they, Morgan?
Not anymore, Mr. Parker.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
I don't know when I'll be able to pay you, but
I'm talking about payment. You helped me get merchandise into Wentworth, and I appreciated that.
That's all there is to it?
I work in a funny business, Miss Ferguson. It pays to keep ex-employees happy. They don't talk.
Thank you.
You're really doing this for nothing.
Andrew, about me moving out.
I thought we settled that.
No, not really. Look, today proved something to me. I'm just not the sort of person who can switch off when I come home from a bad day at work. And that's not fair on you, because, well, I have lots of bad days.
All right, I know all the things you're going to say, but... Well, I've been on my own for a long time, and then suddenly you came along, and it was great. I had someone to talk to, someone to...
Andrew.
Look. So if you come home in a bad mood, okay, I'll do what I did tonight. But I can't promise I'll eat any more of that rotten food.
Andrew, please.
Don't move out, Joan. We make a good pair, don't we?
Look, I'm not right for you. You hardly know me.
But it doesn't take long for people to know if they really like each other.
I told you before. I had a bad experience, and well, it'll be a long time before I'm ready for another relationship.
Yes, well, that is exactly what you should be doing. If you close yourself off from people, you'll never get over it. I know, because that's what I did.
If you'd been through what Terry put me through, you'd understand.
Joan, I do understand. Look, I don't know what this Terry did to you, but I am not him.
Terry... Oh, it doesn't matter. Andrew, you're one of the kindest people I've ever met. And a good friend. Can't we just leave it at that?
Yes. Yes, of course, I shouldn't have brought it up in the first place.
I'd like to be what you want me to be, Andrew, but I'm sorry I can't.
But it's difficult to meet people who measure up, you know? I mean, Mary was quite a woman. She had this special inner strength. You remind me of her in lots of ways. Hello. Here. Just a minute. It's for you.
Thanks. Yes?
I've taken care of that little matter for you.
Uh-huh. You sure it's completely settled?
Oh, yes. Morgan's been over to have a word to the Conquerors. He made it very clear. Any misbehavior on their part, and it'll go very badly for the Connors boy and his friend.
All very well, as long as they believed him.
Oh, they believed him. One word from me, both those kids are dead.
Yes, I'm sure my friends must have been pleased.
I understand someone's going over to Wentworth in the morning to explain things to Connors.
Good, but I'd like to break that news to him myself.
Of course.
Yes, well, I appreciate your help.
Don't mention it. Always glad to do the right thing by a friend. Bye for now.
Yes. There was someone from work.
Oh, everything all right?
Yes, fine. Couldn't be better.
I think we can say our fish is nicely hooked.
So when do we pull her in?
When I'm ready, Morgan. When I'm ready.